Greetings everyone, it's nice to see all your beautiful faces back at the channel. So you're probably wondering, what are the few types of tasks that you'll be responsible for at the Big Four firms? Before we start, if you learned something in this video, please make sure to leave a like down below, comment, and subscribe, or give me a thumbs down, and let me know what I could do better in the comments to make this more informative, concise, and more entertaining for you guys. So what are some tasks based on my own personal experience that you'll be doing when you reach that point? Number one is sampling. You're going to be helping your team sample different audit populations to help begin your audit test work. For example, let's say your audit team or engagement team decides that revenue is a risky area and thus they want to test all the revenue transactions for the year of the audit to ensure that the revenue being booked in your company's financial statements are in fact real, accurate, and existing. So if we stick with our revenue sample, the first thing you'll obtain is all the revenue transactions that are booked in the company's financial statements for that year. Now, we're not going to audit the whole population or every single revenue transaction because that'll just take way too much time. But what we can do is have a first-year associate like yourself take the population, clean and cleanse it, and format it to be ready to be put into the in-house sampling tool, so it will populate and spit out a few samples for you guys to test. Usually those samples will be the most significant, largest transactions. Two would be to send out confirmations. Some audit test works requires your team to confirm various audit balances, such as a cash balance, AR balances, inventory confirm balances, and legal expense balance. And the best way to confirm these balances is to get in touch with some of these third-party banks, creditors, lawyers, and inventory warehouse to get their balances and simply compare them to the client's books. This is a very nice and easy task first years can dip their toes into when it comes to audit. This can help build professional communication skills and organizational skills because you'll be the main contact between your client, your bosses, and all the individuals who'll be asking third-party confirmations from. Three would be attending walkthroughs. Walkthroughs is when the engagement team sits down with the client's management for the engagement team to grasp a better understanding of how management records certain transactions and how they operate their day-to-day operations. Walkthroughs are a great way for the engagement team to identify which accounts and which business processes are most risky and where we want to put our most effort and time into. You'll be sitting in these calls to listen, take notes, and watch how your higher-ups communicate with the client. For your first few years, this experience will be a more passive experience, allowing you to soak in the tone of the conversation, understand the types of questions that will be asked during a walkthrough, and to witness how your more experienced team members would interact and talk to the client. This also gives you and the engagement team a good idea how the client's going to interact with you throughout the audit. Does the client seem bothered that they have to perform these walkthroughs thing as a waste of time? Or are they more courteous and seem to want to take time to help teach you more about their operations? Walkthroughs are just a great way for you to understand the client's business more and understand the client's attitude towards the auditors. Number four would be rolling documents forward. Now this could be a day one task, because not much explanation and or knowledge is needed for you to be able to do this task correctly. Rolling forward documents just means you'll be updating prior year work papers from their prior year amounts and dates and updating them to current year amounts and dates. A somewhat boring and simple task, but if you read some or most of what you're rolling forward, it will be a great source of information for you to learn about your client. You can learn basic information here about your client, such as how much revenue did they make in the prior year and the current year? Did they profit this year or have a net loss? And who on the client side is in charge of these procedures and controls of which you are documenting? Number five will be asking a ton of questions. The very last thing that I expect you to do, and you should do, is asking a plethora of questions. Don't make the mistakes that I made and let your pride and your ego get the best of you. Ask the questions even though your mind is telling you you will look dumb. You're a first year, you're allowed to look dumb. I personally do not think that auditing is an intuitive concept, especially if you're working fully remote. As you go through your work, write down any questions that you can think of and ask them. Maybe don't just ask how to solve it, but ask where you could go to answer your own questions in the future. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for asking any questions. Well, there you go. 5 things that you can expect to do as your first year of audit. Of course, there's going to be plenty of other things that you'll be doing your first year. These are just 5 things that pops into my head when I thought about my own experiences. If you guys want another video about me talking about more audit tasks you could be doing, if not just like first year, but also second, third, or fourth year, well then let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Boom.